Hey guys, welcome back again to this new video tutorial with OSP Pro. In this video today I'm going to be showing you how to come up with what known as we're going to be implementing a date range picker or picker in Flutter. Remember previously from the previous video I showed you guys how to come up with gradient into your Flutter mobile application, that you can decide how to come up with a nice looking gradient for your app. This was just a sample. Now on this scene here, I'm going to be just coming up with a Flutter one as date picker. Actually, it's not just date picker, but date range picker. So it should be actually we're going to be creating. There's an error here. Okay, there's an error there. Now what I'm trying to say here is that we are looking into coming up with something that it picks for us different dates, and then we try to implement it. So this is going to be Flutter create date range picker. Now we're going to be picking up two assumptions. We have two different dates, and then we want to see how this can work actually. So many applications need a date range picker so that the user can actually filter records, or maybe finance transaction or order or statistical data, or something like maybe you have two different times and dates that you want to your application to do. So remember, we need to really look onto and to understand the first date we want to show and the last date that maybe we want to target up from our calendar. So for that scenario, we need to know the start date and the end date of our given application and the time we want to start up with. So let's just dive into the program and look onto how best we can have all these things I've said sorted out. So I'm going to go back here and I just pick a folder which is going to be date time picker. So check it shortly. So this is going to be date range. That's date range picker. That's it. So inside there we're going to have our stuff as expected, and we have all those things. So I'm going to utilize this very fast and have this application sorted out if possible. The first thing is first, I'm going to move all of this off, and I'm going to use something called the float buttons to come up with what we need. So I'm going to first start with just a stateful widget, and I'm going to put my app inside there, whereby you know very well that I'm passing a stateful widget here. Can actually, this is going to be actually my material app. I always like using material app. Okay, so this of mine need to be first analyzing, so just a minute as it analyzes it up. Then remember also here I've passed this into our app, so you can go further to debug and all those stuff. So just a minute. So like I've tried to say here, this is just going to have a constant around there, a constant around there. So the next thing we're going to be passing here is our home, which can be our home of the app, like so. You can go further and try to add other few things around here on your app. Now I'm just going to go down here on our app. We have some other few things to pass into our app so that we can get what we need on our home screen. So I can just create a stateful widget as well here to pass our home into our app. Now remember, this is going to be our scaffold. If you always remember, we've been always having that. Now as you go back into our app inside here, we have few things you're going to define. So we want to know the date. Yeah, like define the date, no? So I'm going to pass in here to get our date, like for instance date time range. So date time range. This date time range we are trying to define at the moment is going to be we're passing it with maybe a selected date. So we want to know the selected date we are trying to get date range that we're going to pass up with. You get? Yeah, so that's like we're trying to pass this selected date with this date that we want to pick and range with. So we also need to get to know the floating, getting up the floating, like triggering up the floating button, so that we have a button inside here to trigger into our Flutter app. So what's that? So you can create a void to show, whereby now this time we're going to be showing. So void, and I'm actually trying to say, let me just put a show button inside here so that it can be synchronized. So synchronize for us that button within the app, so that we can say maybe the final date range that we're trying to pick from here in our app. So final date range that we try to pick into our app this time around is going to be giving us the result, and that result we're trying to get is going to be we're trying to pass it into, we want it to be like maybe to show date to us, show date range picker into our application. Remember, these are some of the stuffs we really have on our app, and we need to pass them into like the start date and the end date. So here, like, you're trying to pass in a variable that we want to pass through into our Flutter app. Remember, we already have this, so this context there, the first date that we want to pass here is going to be like maybe, let me say the date, a time, like that. So here we can pass maybe 2020, 2022, maybe we have, maybe let me say today is when, today is 3rd, so let me just end with today, like 3rd, let me say 6th, that's the end date. And also here I'm going to just pass in my date, like for instance we have this today, the end date that I want to pass into my Flutter app, let it be ending 2030, maybe of 12 of that very date, like that. Yes, so that actually adds for us the value to our app, like that. Now we also have to add some few things inside here on our app, for instance the current time, current date, like we need to know. So this current time, we need to know the time now. You get, yeah, to pick the time now, right now, the time, what time do we have into that we need to trigger into our app, like it. Yes, so we need to know the time now. And then also maybe to save, maybe save text that we want to do. I want to just be showing done, like everything's okay, just show us done into our app. So that should be doing that for us as expected. Now the next thing that I need to pass through our app here down is to give conditions, like conditions into our app. For instance, if I want to say maybe if result, the other result we defined up on our app, which is somewhere around here, if that result we're trying to pass through our app there is actually not equal to null, when there's not equal to null, what do I want it to do? I want it to like to build the UI. You get here, build, let's build for us UI in simple term. Let's build for us the interface, and maybe we're going to just print out, if possible, that result we're trying to pick there in simple term. Let's start like let's start to string, let it be starting up to a string for us, that application. And then on the other way around, I can create also a state, set that kind of a state to one on us this very time, which we want to come up with in a Flutter application, which is that picking the other time that will define the other side. And all of this is also not, is actually equal to the result we want to fetch into our Flutter app. So this that we define there is going to be equivalent to what we have just defined inside here on our Flutter app. So that should work as expected for us. So if you go back inside down here again now on our Flutter app, remember we have the scaffold that we want to pass through inside here. So this is going to be scaffold, like that. So inside the scaffold, you know what's needed there. Inside there we can also get the app bar, like that. So inside the app bar I have title, maybe I will have some constant there, maybe it's going to be having text, maybe it's going to be like now date range picker up. So here we're looking onto coming up with date range picker up, which is important, going to give us a chance to have all those stuffs we want to come with. So, and more field, so I can just have my stuff like that. So if you check, if you come back in here on terminal and try to generate all this up so that you can say Flutter run. So this should be in position to run for us the Flutter app and have all those things sorted out. So that should range for us the app, so don't worry as for us to proceed. So I already have all this constant. This should work for us as expected. This can actually be center it title to true if it's okay with us, and they can also go back onto our app here, and I also say debug to false if it's fine, so that we don't have any debug options on our Flutter application. So the debug option is turned off. So on the next thing that we need now to do into our Flutter part of the app, as all those things proceed, remember now we are making up a complete one as calendar app, no? Making up a complete calendar app into our Flutter application. Inside our scaffold, we already passed all that, so we can actually pass the selected inside there. We can actually pass the selected date inside here. So get out of this bar, app bar, and pass the body of your Flutter app. For instance, if I say let the body, so the body of my app is equivalent to having that, and which that is actually is null this time around. We're looking to whereby this part of the application is null. So body that you're trying to pass, selected date range, is equivalent to null in our Flutter application. And we can also give us a condition there that for a constant center of our app, you get, so that whatever thing we pass inside the child of our app should give us a text that maybe press something to do, press the button to show the picker, press button to show the picker, like that. Press the button to show the picker. So that's just should be enough. And the next thing that I need to pass into our app at the moment, this should be just, you know, passing maybe the padding of our app, which this case around the padding can be the padding, and then I'm going to just be passing up a set dot maybe to all of it, and maybe I want 30. Let the padding be of 30, and then I want just to come down. So here I can actually define a constant like so, or if not so, I can just leave it like that, and then inside here is where I pass okay, let me leave that for now. I'll see what to do. Now I already have all those things sorted out, so I can also pass another child there so that I can generate a column for this app of ours, whereby the column we're trying to cross align to our app has maybe cross alignment to our app, whereby when it is starting, you know, let it start, so that inside here we can talk to children of this particular app. Now here we look onto the starting point of our app. We look onto the starting point of our app, and I'm just going to pass in a text there so that our app should have maybe start date of this app particularly is going to be having a $_ underscore, actually $. So remember, this is going to be passing for us the selected, which should be somewhere here, selected like that, selected date range, which we're trying to pass in dot start for us the application to string. So there we're trying to pass it to string, and then we want also to get the split it for us to the pattern. So at the moment I'm not passing anything inside the pattern, but I'm going to get array to 0, whereby that implies that the first value we're going to be passing in our app. You get? So the next thing I'm going to try to do, maybe I give a style to our app. Maybe we have the constant, maybe text. Remember, I'm going to be giving up a text style, which you're trying to give to our app, maybe to font size of maybe approximately 25, and then also I want to give maybe the color. This time around you're going to be giving colors to maybe, let me say, to green, like to green to our app. you get something like that. And then the next thing I'm going to be giving up our app is just to give the size, the box, no, so that we can have maybe the height to hit of maybe 20 and proximity dashes. That should be fine. Yeah, so if I'm giving up the height to 20, that should give us that. And also maybe on the other way around, I need to come down on my app and try to add some few things like now the other one was the starting point, this is the ending point of the app. So what do you want to pass inside the ending point of this particular app? We need to know the text that you also want to end up with. I'm just going to copy that and paste it out here, whereby what do I want? I want this to be the ending point. This is the end point. Get for us the selected, range it to the string, to splint it, get splint it as well, pass that, gives to the style constant, this that 24, maybe let the ending point be, let me say it is going to be what, let me just give it red for now. And then we have the height. Now on the ending point, I'm not going to give this height stuff, no, I'm not going to pass this, I'm going to move it off, so that my ending point just have something like that into our app, just something like that. And then yeah, so that should just be that. Now if you check here, now just try to pass around there. So to get the button, the floating button, to get the floating button, what do I need to pass? So the floating action that we are going to generate is going to be a floating action button that we're going to be generating up into our Flutter app. So we want on press. Now remember, we defined somewhere up on our Flutter app, if you remember this show, you get, this is the show I defined up on my Flutter application. So I'll just pass it inside here so that it can show for us, like when they press it, show for us that stuff. And also we want a child inside our Flutter app to be a constant, and this time around we're going to be passing up an icon, and this is going to be icon as well, to be icons, as in icons. And then this we are going to be passing up the date, date range, like so, so that in a simple term we have everything created for us in that way. So if you just try to constant there, good, that should be everything fine for us. So if you also try to fix this, look at the constant modifier there, good. So we also have this, you can as well fix it if you want. So make condition on key, blah blah, I don't want that, I just want my stuff to be the way it is for now. Ignore, just ignore it off, it's okay. So I already have all my code, so I'm trying to explain to you guys, this should be 20 minutes video, making a complete date app, yeah, calendar app, complete calendar app into Flutter application. This should be working as expected. Those of you guys who want this source code, I should give it to you to work out for you as expected. So this should be picking up that particular date into our app. So if I save this, I try to reload here in my loader, and I check here, we should see it's going to be rendering up for us the app. And I think you can see I already passed my date around here, that's why you see date range is coming here. So press button to show the pickers. When I click there, I think you can see my date is popping up very well. And then if you try to see, this is like if you check here, this is like today is the 7th, I think you can see, and we want to know this 7th March, so start date and end date. So if you click in here, this should give us the range and the end of our app. So when I click there and I try to set today, pick the range from today, good, and I come back also down here and I want to pick us the range to another date, which is that, and I just click down, it should tell me start date to end date that. So if I come back here again and I try to pick in the range, okay, to that, okay, and then I pick another mat, pick that to that, so I pick down. Wow, those are the dates I picked. So it should give us here down approximately. This is what I've got. Starting application in that, so the date is ending starting that, and the time is ending is starting that. So that should be approximately very good for us in our Flutter application. So might there's some small errors that I'm trying to get there. I'll show you guys in the video description on where maybe we might have messed up, because trust me, there's some small errors, because starting date 2 and date 2, this shouldn't be the worst case. So let me try to just hot load again. Okay, so if I click here again, I pick this to that, pick that to that, range that, so take that. So here down, start date is that, picking that, start date, end date. No, so there's some small error, especially on end date to select date. So let me just check that. So this is start to string, print this to that, and then style that to the given particular style you want to style it. The color is that. I'm giving the range to that. So here should show me the start, which is selected date again from on top of application, and then if you shake again, should get this down. So well, that's it for now. If you find this video interesting, please don't forget to subscribe. This is a complete app show. If you guys come up with something different a little bit than this one I have got to come up with, let me know in the video description. Thanks for watching. Thank you.